another day in Bronie's world, and we have the amazing Dr. Joel Wallach with us again today. But it's an interesting thing. Did you know that the biggest, most thing that people go to doctors for is stress? So I thought I'd have a little chat with my dear friend, Dr. Joel Wallach, about the good, the bad, and the ugly of stress. Because there is good stress, there's bad stress, and then there's really ugly stress. So with no further ado, I thought I would hand it over to the doc to put a little bit of a light on the different types of stress and what can happen if you get the wrong kind of stress, and the good of what can happen if you do the right kind of stress. The doc, it's all over to you today.
Oh, it's so glad to be with you in Australia.
I know, right? And it's a beautiful, beautiful autumn day here. Sun's shining and weather's great.
Okay. So do you want to start out?
Yes. Oh, yes. So let's have a look at what is the good sides of stress.
Okay. The good side of stress is that it prepares us for making things happen. For instance, physical stress. If you are working physically on a farm or in a factory or something like that, you are building strength in your muscles, your vascular system, your nervous system. So if something comes along that's a little bit different and out of sorts, you can handle it because you've been handling all this stuff in the factory and stuff like that. And so to have something that's a little bit out of sorts, is that stress you've been doing for 6 months or 2 years or 5 years, whatever it is in the factory, has prepared you to handle it. Okay. So good stress prepares you to handle what comes along unexpectedly.
There's the good side of stress.
Yeah, that's the short version.
That's the short version. And so let's go to the bad stress. Remember, we're going to bad and then ugly. But so what is a bad stress? Yeah, we're doing the good, the bad, and the ugly. So we're doing the bad now. What would you consider a bad stress and the effects of a bad stress?
Okay, bad stress, let's say that you've been working inside all the time. You don't have any tan or anything like that. You haven't been used to being out in the sun. And then for some reason, you want to do some work out in the yard. And, it's kind of like in the afternoon, in the middle of the summer, and you're at 100 degrees and you're sweating. That's bad stress, okay? Because you're losing elements. You're losing elements in your sweat. But also, you're taking from your stores of nutrients that'll be there if you need them. And so you overheat. You can die from overheating. Okay. So heat is a bad stress. And so you have to really kind of come up on it gradually. You have to prepare for it, make sure you're drinking plenty of liquids and so forth to keep your internal body temperature down. Okay. And so heat can be a bad stress.
And heat comes in many forms too. It's not just the heat from the sun. Your body can overheat.
The body can generate heat from exercise or movement or something like that. Or if you have an infection, it'll generate a fever. That's heat. Okay. And
what if no, I've had this just recently. What if not me personally, but someone I know, what if your body, you feel like your body's on fire, but you've got no temperature, no infection, no temperature, but your body feels like it's on fire? Okay, would that be from a bad stress?
Okay, it could be from a bad stress. It could be a nerve thing. As bad stress putting pressure on your nerves, and your body interprets that bad stress as heat, and so it reacts as if it was actual thermal heat. And so that'd be a bad one because it can put a lot of pressure on many systems, including the vascular system, the respiratory system, your immune system, your kidneys, and so on, because we're prepared to have our internal body temperature 98 degrees. When you start
Fahrenheit,
getting up,
for those of
yeah,
you,
Fahrenheit. That's
because we work
Fahrenheit.
Celsius here, so I think that's about
Yeah, yeah, 98 degrees Fahrenheit.
yeah.
And
So
then if your
that's
body
about
perceives
36 here, I think,
36 out of
Celsius. Roughly
okay, because
36 Celsius, I think.
Celsius is like almost 1/3 Fahrenheit.
There you go. Just keeping the fact that we have listeners from Celsius parts of the world.
Let's see.
So while we're touching on that, on the bad stress, before we get to the ugly, in that particular case, what could that person do to alleviate that stress, to get that the heat of their body, like their skin felt like it was red hot, but there was absolutely no temperature.
Yeah, no
Like
fever.
there's no fever. I knew what it meant.
Okay. Yeah, if there's no fever, if there's no temperature, then you're dead.
Yeah, well, that's true. No fever. This is Bronie here. I'm a girl from the bush.
Okay. Then you have stress from family. Oh my gosh, my youngest daughter is pregnant. She's going to have a baby. That sort of stress. What are we going to do? She's divorced. She's, got this baby coming along. How are we going to deal with this baby and all this, that, and the other? And she's still got to go to work and blah, blah, blah. These promote a situation stress, okay, where you have to come up with things to what to deal with this added weight of something, whether it's another person in the family, something going on with one person having a health issue. Those are issues that can cause a internal stress. Your adrenal glands start letting out all kinds of stuff and raise your temperature and so on. Why I don't have an infection, so why do I have my temperature's going up? That's because your adrenal glands are telling you, hey, get ready for the big push here. There's going to be something big happening, and you better be prepared for it. And that's that kind of stress. Okay. Okay, we say work stress. Of course, we already know about work stress. Diet is one of those things where if you eat too much carbohydrates, it takes a lot of nutrition out of your cells because it requires a lot of nutrients to have your mitochondria in your cells deal with all that carbohydrate. Okay, otherwise it just turns into fat, and that's not good. Okay, and then let's see here. Again, personal relationships are very important when it comes to stress. If you have, constant arguments or constant irritation between two people living in the same place or in the workplace, or the same desk in the workplace, that type of stress can be very devastating, and they actually kill you. You die of a heart attack or something like that.
So would you class that as the ugly stress or the bad?
Yeah, that'd be the ugly.
Yeah, just so people know, we're into the ugly stress here.
Okay, got to be prepared there. And then, of course, all circumstances, okay? We're talking about nutrition, we're talking about exercise, we're talking about rest, we're talking about what the chronic stuff, okay, chemistries that's going on in our body, hormones, blood cells being made, blood cells dying, that sort of thing. And if you're eating too much salt, or if you're eating too much cinnamon, they can cause this thing going on in your skin, which is a hot, itchy dermatitis. Okay.
So you can have too much salt as well as not enough.
That's correct. You can have too much water as well as not enough.
Yes, and it's funny you mentioned that, because I was reading in the PubMed just yesterday, about, because dehydration is actually poses according to the PubMed website, poses a risk to public health, because it's one of the highest things that people go to hospital for, and hospitals and community care health
You
things
understand
are
dehydration?
not addressing it.
Dehydration, yeah, is one of the
Yeah.
main things people go to hospital for, because it's kind of like dehydration to a human being is like no oil or grease in the moving parts of your car.
Mm.
Okay, there's a lot of friction, a lot of things burn up, even metal will wear away if you don't have lubrication between two metal parts. The same thing is true with our body. If you don't have lubrication between your muscles, between your bones and your tendons and all kinds of stuff, it causes a problem.
I would link, and you can confirm or deny, or you confirm either way. To me, dehydration would be part of the ugly stress.
Oh yeah,
I would class it as one of the big ones that causes stress.
well,
Because
people who die in the desert die of dehydration.
yeah, they do, which is bad, ugly stress.
Yeah, and so then also there's sexual stress where you get teenagers, they're going through puberty and all that kind of stuff, and then you have older people who are losing their zest and interest in sex, and they have a partner who's more interested and they're less interested. So that's why we have the Zera test, which is a product that helps increase the male hormone production in males. And this Zera Fem is for females. It helps them actually make more female hormones. Okay. So if they're going through the change of life at the top end, they're in their 50s, 60s, and 70s, and their sex life is kind of going down the drain. They just can't figure out what's going on. Zero test for males and Zerafem for females. It'll bring them back
Every time.
every time.
But now, guys, remember, it's not a quick fix. It's like the 90 for life. It's sort of kind of one of these things you have to do for life. It's not just a quick fix.
Well, yeah, it's a
And I
formula.
think I find
You have
people
to
take it once and think, oh, it didn't work. Like, hang on a minute, you've got to give your body time to catch up.
and to readjust, right?
Mm.
And so you have to be getting rid of the bad foods, make sure you're eating all the good foods, take your 90 essential nutrients, the healthy brain and heart pack. And then the secret sauces, we call them, are things that specifically encourage the production of the things we need to cope with stress. Okay, you need to cope with everything, anti-inflammatories, coolants, all in the human body. You need coolants and
Yeah.
anti-inflammatories like that. And we have chemistry, we have cells, we have all kinds of stuff that actually take that encouragement, okay, from the cells, male and female sexual cells and so forth. And the body chemistry tells them what to do. And then, of course, they do it if you have all the chemicals available, just like your car. You want to jump in your car and drive, for 3 hours, but you didn't fill up the tank and it's empty. Are you going to be able to drive for 3 hours on an empty tank? No. Okay. And so the same thing is true with energy. Same thing is true with things like, again, dealing with stress is a multi-factored thing. And so when you deal with stress, you say multi-splendored thing, many splendored thing. Okay. It can make life wonderful. Stresses can make life wonderful if you guide them in the right way and prevent the bad stresses and encourage the good stresses. You take your kids and your grandkids, you challenge them. If you get an A in your math class, I'll buy a computer. Okay, that's a good stress.
Yeah. Well, they might not see it that way, but that's beside the point.
Well, if they want to have a computer that costs a couple $100,
Mm.
okay, and they're not working, they're 9 years old or something like that. Well, you're going to have to do some things, mow the lawn,
Yes.
wash the windows, vacuum the rugs. You're going to have to do some stuff and eat your food right and so forth. Do a little bit of reading, and then you'll be able to do what's necessary for you to accomplish what you want.
Yes. And because, stress also causes a lot of mental health issues as well. And so would you class that in the bad or the ugly side of our stress?
Well, it could be any one of the three, depending on how bad it is you get. I mean, if you kill somebody because you're under a lot of stress, that's a bad one. But if you're just can't go to sleep because you're under stress, because you have to do something and you just don't quite have the formula to get it done, okay, and you can't sleep. Now that's a good stress because you're responsible for something and you got to get it dealt with. And so when you have something really serious going on and people are being injured or are losing their jobs and everything because you can't quite figure out what to do, that's a bad stress.
Mm. And an ugly stress is when you lose a loved one in a not so nice way.
That's right. You weren't ready for them to pass on and they
Mm.
die.
That's right. So we've looked at that. What is a good formula to help people deal with stress? I mean, good stress, you would obviously, you have our 90 essential nutrients, so they're 90 for life, the Healthy Body Start Pack. I personally would recommend to anyone, my biggest recommendation is the Healthy Body, Brain and Heart Pack, because I'm telling you, that helps with stress and everything else. In my opinion, that's just my opinion. But what other things can people add to that to help with their different levels of stress?
Okay. Well, I like the Rebound. It's our sports drink. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And
Oh, an athlete needs that for their stress. Their
yes,
stress of
athletes
running
need
in
that.
that heat.
And mama may need it, or grandma may need it to deal with the kids.
And the
Okay.
grandkids.
Rebound. Okay. And so it's one of those things where um, we have the products, we have over 2,000 products to deal with high blood pressure, diabetes, arthritis, osteoporosis. Um, let's see, did I say diabetes? If I didn't, I'm saying
Yes, you
diabetes.
did, yeah.
Diabetes
And all
again.
sorts of inflammatory
Yeah.
syndromes like fibromyalgia and what are some other inflammation ones?
So,
Anyway.
and then, memory problems, Alzheimer's disease, Parkinson's disease. Parkinson's disease in America just went up by 50%. Okay,
That's,
they've
I
been
mean, that's
running for
crazy.
years, 60,000 new cases a year in America. 60,000 new cases in America for years and years and years and years. About a week ago, it jumped up to 90,000 new cases of Parkinson's disease per year.
And that's one of those things that comes down to lack of nutrition to start with. Am I correct?
Lack of nutrition.
The lack of nutrition, yeah, the 90 for life to start with. That would be the catalyst of um, not just Alzheimer's. What did you say? I haven't had a snap today. The Parkinson's.
Yeah, Parkinson's.
Yeah. So if
It's,
people are having their 90 plus whatever extra sources they need for their situation, they're less likely to end up with Parkinson's. And that's crazy that's jumped by double.
yeah. Well, that's like your car. If you keep checking the oil in your car and you keep the oil at the top end of the capacity of holding oil, the odds of the engine burning up are significantly reduced.
Mm.
If you wait 3 months, 4 months, 5 months, 6 months to check your oil, oh my gosh, it's only 30% of what it should be. car might burn up on your way to the gas station to get the oil.
To get the
Okay.
oil to fill up. That's right, exactly right.
And so this is why we want people to read the books, take the supplements, do the exercise, do what they need to do to have everything running on the rails properly. And you'll be able to cope with stress. If you're not prepared to deal with stress, you're going to pay a price. You will pay a horrible price. You can lose your job. You can lose your relationship with a spouse or, somebody you're having a good time with. And all these things can fall apart if you're not doing everything as it should. And so this is kind of a stressy thing. Okay. It's one of those stresses where there could be life-threatening changes. It could also be life experience changes. It could be things that cause chronic problems in your family. Okay, if you have stress that you can't deal with and can't comprehend it and can't fix it. And so that's why we, for instance, one of my favorite books, we've got 24 best-selling books. Okay, this is one of my favorites, Hell's Kitchen. For 2,000 years, we're getting all the minerals we needed. Now, how do we do that for 2,000 years? Well, we're using wood and coal as fuel.
Yeah.
And we use the wood ashes and coal ashes as our source of nutritional minerals.
And we use them in our gardens to make our
And we put them in our garden as a
vegetables
fertilizer.
and even our flowers to grow nicely.
Yeah, so we're coming at it from two different directions. Okay. And then at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, Monday, September 4th, 1882, on Pearl Street in New York City, they pulled the switch and they went to a thing called what?
Electricity.
Electricity. You got it.
Yeah.
Electricity. Okay. And so no more wood ashes, no more coal ashes. And that was what, 1892 kind of thing. Well, by 1900, everybody in the world knew about electricity. We're using electricity preferred, it wasn't dirty smoke and all that kind of stuff and stink up the house with burning coal and so on. They're happy. But after time went on, somebody finally realized, well, why are we getting all these diseases, dozens and dozens and dozens of diseases we've never seen before? What is it? Well, it's because they went to electricity. They didn't have any more access to the minerals that we were getting from wood ashes and coal ashes. And the doctors, just eat well. That's what doctors are famous for. Don't waste your money.
And they still are today. They still are today.
Yeah.
I
Eat
heard
well,
it again yesterday. But we eat well. And I'm going, well, you may think you eat well, but, I actually was talking to a lady in Ireland late last night, my time, so it was her morning. And, sort of explaining to her about the good foods and bad foods. Like bad foods, just leave them alone. Do not go anywhere near them. The good foods, even things on the good food list, there may be some things on the good food list that are not necessarily good for you as an individual.
Okay, sorry, let me apologize. Let me shut this off.
I had to look at mine too because I suddenly realized I hadn't put mine on silent. And so it's not just the nutrients that we need, it's the good foods and to avoid the bad foods. That is the key, to avoid the bad foods. And then maybe do a little bit of a food map, like a food diary. I encourage people to do food diaries and just see if even some things on the good food list may not be good for you, like these people who have an allergy to or a reaction to fish. We all know fish is good for us, but some people actually have some sort of reaction to it. So, it's a case of working it out.
They need to know that. They need to know that. They say, oh yeah, I like to eat salmon and I do it once a week, but every time I eat salmon, I'm sick for 3 days. So I only eat it once a week. Well,
so and even though it's on the good food list, it may not necessarily be good for you.
On your list, that's a bad food. Yeah.
So yes, but this is what I was explaining to this lady in Ireland, saying avoid the bad foods at all costs, and then work your way through the good foods to see what is okay for you, because some things are just not. She actually only revealed to me last night that she doesn't have a colon, and she has a, a bag in, and she just started the 90 essential nutrients, and it sort of kind of went through her, and she said, and I said, you need to take it slow. It's better to slowly get into taking the 90 at a reduced amount and work up to it, so her body had time to adjust.
Yeah, and of course we also have things to deal with people who already have a lot of stress and they're having stress symptoms building up. Okay. And so I like them to take the brain and heart pack, the old, the healthy brain and heart pack, 1 per month per 100 pounds of body weight. If they weigh 150 pounds, they go for 2 healthy brain and heart packs per month, take a full dose twice a day. And we have de-stress capsules, de-stress. Okay. Yeah. And that, the name says what it does. It actually was made for, let's see here. It's actually made for, I think it was whales. Let me get my paper out here so I don't say something stupid.
Hey, this is me. I say something stupid all the time.
Okay, that's great. Yeah, we used to have congestive heart failure in whales. Okay, in the big aquariums around the world.
Yeah.
The congestive heart failure in dolphins and whales, it was caused by eating certain small fish that had thiaminase in their tissues. Thiaminase is an enzyme in small fish tissue that destroys vitamin B1, and vitamin B1 deficiency causes what?
Stress.
Oh, congestive heart failure.
Heart failure.
And so I figured that out, and we started giving all these dolphins and whales a different fish. We gave them the 90 essential nutrients and cured them all.
Awesome. See, well, the 90 essential nutrients are not just for people, they're for animals.
No. Well, it could be for mammals, it could be for lizards and snakes, and we actually had stress in bears in every zoo in the world. Every zoo in the world had bears in, black bears, brown bears, grizzly bears, every kind of bear you can think of. In every zoo and all over the world, they were all dying of liver cancer.
Yes.
Yeah, and boy, it put a stress on all there's
I wouldn't just put stress on the bears, it put stress on the zookeepers.
Exactly, put stress on the zookeeper because he was getting blamed for causing them to have all this liver cancer. Well, it turns out they were also being misfed. Okay, they were when every zoo in the world would sell peanuts.
They would
to the public, and the people buy the peanuts. They throw them to the bears. The bears learn to stand up on their hind legs and wave their front legs, and people would throw peanuts at them. Well, it turns out that peanuts grow on fungus called Aspergillus flavus in the soil. All other nuts are safe because they don't grow in the soil. But peanuts grow in the soil, grow this Aspergillus flavus, which produces aflatoxin, okay, which causes liver cancer. Well, it took me about 3 days to figure that out because I when you have all these different bears in every zoo in the world having the same problem, that means there's some unifying factors or something they're all getting or not getting. It didn't take me long to figure it out. Yep. And so we got them off the peanuts and started giving them other types of nuts that were grown on trees and things like that, and immediately stopped the new cases of liver cancer in the bears in the world. Okay, and so
then you had to treat the liver cancer as well for those who did have it.
That's correct. Or some zoos, they didn't have the money to pay for that treatment, so they just put them to sleep. Okay, so
which is sad.
We do have a product called Soul, which helps as well as herbal rainforest. That's my favorite for dealing with stress. Okay. It's got
Yeah.
15 herbs, which kind of relax you. And it's got 70 to 75 minerals in it. Okay. And
So are you talking about this little guy, this Sol, my hydration stick?
yeah, hydration sticks.
Yeah,
Okay.
this is brilliant.
Absolutely.
I absolutely love this. Can I tell you a story about this particular one?
Yeah. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. We are foster carers and we have a foster son. He's now 20. But when he was going to school, he was on all these heavy drugs. Really, stress was way out there. He was in flight fight mode all the time. And he struggled to stay calm at school and to stay focused. So we added the Sol to his water along with the Smart hydration stick, this one, Doc, and which helps with focus. And that brought his stress levels right down. And he could stay calm in class and focused, and the teachers noticed. And then when
Wow.
and that was before we came to the into longevity, because our company brought these in. And then when we gave him the 90 as well, he is completely off all drugs. He's completely drug free, and he was on such strong medication for his anger, his depression, his PSD, and you name it, that the doctors, the specialists had to ring the government to get permission to write that script. So
Hmm.
you know it's strong. And he's off everything. He takes no medication whatsoever now. And it started with these two.
Well, there you go. Well, there's
And the
nothing to worry
90. And getting him
about.
off
Yeah,
the bad foods.
take them with the 90. And of course, it's one of those things where Soul is actually a wonder supplement. Okay. I won't call it a wonder drug, it's a wonder supplement.
It is.
Okay. And it's got some vitamins in, like vitamin C and that kind of thing, and some magnesium. Okay. But what really makes it work is the herbs that are in there. Okay. You take one of those sticks,
Yeah.
and you cut the end off, and you put the powder in 16 ounces of water, and you got magic. Okay.
You got
And
an
so,
awesome drink.
yeah,
It's tropical
yerba
flavor.
mate, yerba mate leaf extract. Okay. It's got a coffee flavor, I think. Okay. Yerba mate leaf extract. Let's see here, Eleuthera root extract, elderberry extract, ginkgo biloba extract, guarana extract, bio purines, okay? And all of these things will calm you down from stress. And so if you have a stress thing, you want to take these, the Soul, along with the 90 essential nutrients and the rebound, okay? That's a great combination for stress of any kind.
Oh, it absolutely is. I am totally 100% behind you with that. And yeah, it's a great yeah, well, and it covers your hydration as well, so you stop you from being dehydrated. So
Yeah, when you drink 16 ounces of water twice a day, a lot of people don't do that.
I know I'm astounded at the number of people, and I find, Doc, I don't know, it's just my observation that the less people drink, water, not tea and coffee, that doesn't count, that coffee dehydrates you, but the less people drink of water, the more they go to the toilet. They never seem to, they're up all night going to the toilet, because from my learning as a nurse and so forth as well, your body hangs on, and you can confirm this or deny it, whatever, hangs on to some of that liquid to survive. So it won't completely empty their bladder because they're dehydrated. It's trying to hang on to it. And that's why they go to the toilet more often.
Toxins start building up.
Yeah. And I can't get that through to some people who have issues with going to the toilet or several times a night. I know, well, this is one of the issues. It's not the only issue, but and I know that they don't drink enough.
Okay. Now, you know about Parkinson's disease, right? Parkinson's disease. It's all over the place. Every human being and many animals are susceptible to it now. And it is a tremendous stress disease, okay? 90,000 new cases every year now in the United States. 90,000 new cases of Parkinson's disease. Well, we lucked out, and one of our Parkinson's patients, okay, it's a very interesting story. She's going to the same doctors for 11 years, slowly getting worse and worse and worse. And she was at the end of her string. They didn't think she had another couple of months to live. And so her family and so forth, they asked us what they might do. And so we put her on the healthy brain and heart pack. Okay. And we put her on the all 90 essential nutrients, the rebound of so kind of stuff. And then in 2.5 months, after 11 years, she had gone in once or twice a year for 11 years, positive Parkinson's disease. After 2.5 months on our program, okay, with the 90 essential nutrients, guess what?
No more Parkinson's.
No more Parkinson's. And so this freaked everybody out. All these doctors she'd been going to for 11 years, and they sent their kids to college, all the money they made off of her, and all this, and the other. And suddenly now, just by taking these nutrients and the herbs, okay, she is gone. And just alone in America each year, okay, Parkinson's disease, we spend $52 billion a year. That's with a B, not a million, billion. $52 billion a year just to treat the symptoms of Parkinson's disease, not to prevent it or cure it, just to treat the symptoms.
It's crazy.
Yeah. And so we really, really appreciated Madeline, because she kept notes, and she was very, very good about making sure that everybody knew why she was getting better. And so we have so many hundreds of people who have been diagnosed with Parkinson's disease many years ago. And, we still get some who don't take our stuff, and they just take the doctor's thing. And there was a 49-year-old young fella who was a TV star. Okay. And he was being treated for 5 years for Parkinson's disease.
Yeah.
Didn't make it. Okay. And so
yeah, it really is quite sad to see people suffering unnecessarily because they just don't want to look at an alternative that could be actually the key to turning that illness around.
Part of the problem here is that the general public in every country of the world has been taught the doctors know everything.
No, except
you must follow what the doctor says. Okay. And of course, that's not true. And so, but look, they give them the IVs and this and the other, and they live another 2 or 3 years where they would have died 2 or 3 years earlier. But yeah, if you give them the 90 essential nutrients and whatever secret sauce they need for that particular health issue, they could live another 25 years instead of another 2 years. Okay. And so these are the sort of things, talking with you about this and sharing the information for your followers, people who've been following you for years and years and years and years. We can't thank enough for that. And we do have a space. So if people want to join you, okay, and become one of the longevity associates, one of our associates, we call them, distributors too, what should I say, too heavy, so we call them associates. And it's one of those things where we have 24 best-selling books. We have over 100 CDs and DVDs.
Yeah.
Okay. And they're all bestsellers. Some of them have sold over 200 million copies. People are interested in this stuff. They want to know how to live healthier longer. Okay.
Yes,
But
absolutely.
they have to know that there are options. There are options. And this is where we're looking for your team to join us and show people what the options are. And of course, that'll be good for this new person coming along and say, what do I do for this? My doctor says I've only got, a couple of months to live or whatever. What do I do? Because most people say, well, let's go for a vacation or let's go swimming or let's go fishing because my doctor says I only have 2 more months to live. They just give up because my
Yeah.
doctor said, right? Because the doctor, of course, is in their mind next to God. Well, the doctors will.
But they aren't. They're far from it. Well, I'm not saying that they're not got their place and they're useful and so forth, but um, to ever think that they are God that's a danger in itself.
Yes.
They're not. None of us are the be all and end all of any situation because I mean, we don't have the be all and end all answers to everything either, but we offer people a natural alternative and, well, can't do any harm, give it a go. And it just may be the key to turning your life around.
That's correct. Well, the good Lord put all this stuff on earth. We didn't put it here. He put it here. And so if there's a little bit of hope that a particular plant or rock or animal or something has something in it that can help you with a disease or lower your risk of certain diseases, this is why we have supplements.
Yeah.
This is why we have supplements, because through time and through research, we found that certain nutrients can prevent certain diseases and reverse certain diseases. And so why not give your body what it needs to maximize your health and your longevity for you and your family, okay? And so this is what drives me to get this information out there. And the information is great science. It's, what should I say, it's one of those things where you cannot say it's bad science, but it works the same every time.
Absolutely. Well, Doc, I guess we'll leave it there today because like stress is a huge subject and it's I think it's the underlining of so many health issues. So if we can help people eliminate their stress, have good stress, eliminate the bad and the ugly stress, then they've got a fighting chance. Even, I mean, look, an ugly stress is Parkinson's. An ugly stress is Alzheimer's. But how did you get there in the first place? They were
Well, it was
missing
our ignorance.
something.
Yeah, it was our ignorance that got us there. So now we know how to prevent it, how to reverse it. And so everybody should be doing this. And Parkinson's disease is not a genetic thing. Well, we had 5 people in our family with Parkinson's. That's because they're all eating the same thing.
Yeah,
Okay, it
exactly
wasn't a
right.
genetic thing. Yeah, it wasn't a genetic thing. And so now
The same with
we can
Alzheimer's.
stop
They
it.
keep telling people that, oh, if you're someone in your family has Alzheimer's, or especially your parents or your grandparents, then you're prone to get it. Well, I suppose if you eat the same as them, I guess you probably will.
It's correct.
But it's not transmittedly, you know.
It's not transmitting a gene.
Yeah, no, it's got to look at the diet. You've got to look at what's missing in my diet that's caused that in the first place, and what to eliminate. All right, Doc. Well, thank you for your time, and we could go on about stress
Yeah. But
for a
thank you
very
for your
long.
hospitality. Thank you for your hospitality. Look forward to the next time. And it's one of those things where we're family. And I can't thank you enough and applaud you enough for all the good things you do for people and humanity in the world. And so you're an angel of God, and we'll keep applauding you and keeping you in our prayers because you do such great things. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you very much, Doc, and I appreciate your time. Your time is to give your time to me so that I can get the message out there. To me, is gold. Is gold. All right. Well,
Okay.
as I say here in Bronie's order, ask you all really nicely to stay safe, stay informed, be empowered, but do not live in fear, my friends. And when you're taking care of the good, the bad, and the ugly of stress, and getting that 90 essential nutrients in, and just getting hold of me, we can help you through that, then you too will be powerful, beautiful, brilliant, and most definitely very brave. God bless you all. And Doc and I will catch you again. Well, I'll catch you again tomorrow. Doc will catch you again in a month's time. Bye now.
Bye-bye.